before we do, would love to get to know a little bit about where you are in your business and what you're looking to get out of the class today.
I'll start, and I'm gonna update my name. So I'm Stephanie Allen. I'm actually out of Atlanta, Georgia, and I am new to Keller Williams, but not new to real estate.
Well, family.
Thank you very much. And I was drawn to this class for a number of reasons, Natalie. One, because like I was mentioning to you before, I do travel a lot too, and I want to learn, some tips and tricks to how to manage my business while I'm not physically where my clients are. And it's always good just to hear what other folks are doing in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm Lisa Woolard in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I run the Home Approval team. We are a 2-women agent team. My partner, she likes to back in, so she throws me out there in front of the clients. So try to make each other shine. Our goal is, what attracted us to your class again is we missed it the first time you did it a while ago, but definitely to be you. I want to work 20 plus hours and take my 20 plus vacations. And my clients not know as much. She would love to be back on the beach of Florida, selling real estate and doing all the paperwork. And just, now I'm a new me. If I can be with my grandchildren at Disney and still make these numbers I make, I would love it. Plus, I need a lot more leverage. I've been in the business too long and everything still runs amongst in my head. So.
Right.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kenitra Foltz from Louisiana. I'm actually a new real estate agent. I just became licensed not even a month ago. So the purpose for me joining this class, I'm with Keller Williams. I just joined Keller Williams in Metairie, Louisiana. The purpose of me joining is because I'm trying to soak up as much information as I can. So that way, once I go into the field, I'm not looking like a newbie to my client. So I'm here to learn as much as you're going to provide to me today.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, so I will say this, what you're gonna learn from in this class is not necessarily gonna be that part, but what you're gonna learn is you're gonna hit your business into a point, hopefully you'll get so busy that you're like, I don't know what to do. And this is when this class kicks in. So understanding and knowing and setting your business up, knowing that you have ways to leverage it, to have some freedom and don't become burned out. I would say that all of real estate agents that I know that are successful were at the point of burnout at some point. And some of us have burnout over and over, and then we take a break and then we come back, and it's just a hamster wheel, right? So I created this class because people always wonder, how in the world am I selling what I sell? And I'm never in the country. Like, it's a joke in the office at almost where, when they see me, they're like, wait, you're in. And I'm like, yeah, am I not supposed to be? Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And I have a couple of people that I was waiting for them to come on, and they were supposed to be on here, but we'll, did everybody say, Sonia, did you speak already? You there?
Call my name.
I
Did
did.
you just speak to me? Okay, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. I was trying to get that up.
No,
I haven't.
Okay, go ahead. That's what I thought. So how long have you been in business, and what do you want to get out of this class?
Okay, so I've been in business probably officially for about, I wanted to get out of this class was basically how to leverage my business, how to take my business from a physical aspect probably to a digital space, because I'm back and forth between the US and Europe also. So I know I'm not in real estate, but I just thought that I would be able to hear something that would affect my business positively.
I know you're over there. Where are you at now?
Oh, no, right now I'm in Charlotte. I'll be leaving for Europe in a couple of months. So still just working.
And just so you guys know, so me and Sonia, we go back to about, what, 15 years? We used to teach together. So before I went to real estate, and she ran the culinary program and I ran the marketing program at the high school. So yeah, I know she's getting ready to, do what I'm doing. And so I'm super excited about it. You'll definitely get stuff out of this. When I'm teaching this, Sonia, I'll use some vocabulary that's specific to real estate. So if I use any vocabulary that you're like, wait, what? Then ask me, because I can kind of shift it to what in a different position in different fields that would still work, right? So we'll get started, and hopefully I'll see if somebody pops in, because I think you guys, it didn't ask you guys to trigger a password, right?
No, this time it didn't.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's what I was hoping. Awesome. So I'm with Keller Williams in Buckhead here in Atlanta. I've been with this office since I started my real estate career in 2014. I've gone through ups and downs, ins and outs. I want to quit real estate to I love real estate throughout those years. I can't believe it's almost going on like 9 years now, right? 10 years. So super excited to kind of share with you. And the reason I still love to teach and train, even though, I don't get paid for it a lot of times, it's just to share knowledge, and that's our KW culture. And what I like about it is it allows me to help people build a business that works for them, right? I for the longest, when I first started, I read the MREA and I was going to build a 7-level team and make $1 million in real estate. And then I realized, wait, I'm not going to have any freedom until I get to the level where I step away and I hire somebody, which could be 10 to 15 years. And or it could be 5, depends on how fast. And it wasn't attractive to me. So I kind of realized that I wanted different things out of real estate and what I wanted out of life. So my background, I'm international as well. I was born and raised in Sweden. My mom is from Finland. My dad, who passed away during COVID, was from Eritrea. I came to Atlanta to play basketball. Went to Morris Brown and I transferred to Georgia State. I have 2 sons, Nicholas and Chris. That's old. They're actually 21 and 26 now. They just had birthdays that passed. And they both moved to Sweden to go to University of Stockholm. And that's one of the reasons where I'm now going to be transitioning my business, where I'm going to run my business here in the United States. And I'm also going to open up a real estate office, or not office, but a real estate team, which is going to probably be me and just heavily leveraged like I do here, but it's still a team in Barcelona in Spain. So that's kind of what's on the books for now. And then starting March of next year, I'll be there 3 weeks at a time, 3 weeks here, back and forth. Prior to real estate, I was a business manager. I was a regional financial analyst. I was a marketing business teacher and a career development coordinator and a head basketball coach. So on average, I normally sell about 10 to 12 million in volume, and that's 300,000 GCI. And I work less than 20 hours a week in the past 3 years. Now, I'm going to be honest with you and transparent. This year, I probably have worked 5 hours a week, but my numbers show I'm not really doing anything. And a lot of it has just been, I'm in the process of figuring out what I want in life. I was in a relationship 5.5 years. We broke up. Before that, my grandmother passed away. There's just been a lot of life that happened. The cool part about it is I've taken 15 trips so far this year. So I'm probably going to beat how many trips, but I do have to do a little bit more work. So my 5 hours a week is not enough. I need to go and increase that to 20 so that I can make sure that I'm hitting still the 10 to 12 million in volume. Last year, I did 23 trips and 18 were out of the country. And of course, I'm in Atlanta. So if you have any referrals here, would love to serve them. So we're going to dig into definitely into our curriculum right away. And what we're going to cover today, just go back. What we're going to cover is these things. What is leverage? How to track your time? How do you calculate your hourly rate? And how do you manage your calendar? And then we know who to hire and how to manage them and figure out how to get it. What are some of the tools that you can use? And how to manage things once you've leveraged it out. How do you manage it to make sure that they're still serving at the same customer service level that you want? Okay. Is there anything else about leverage outside of the things I kind of put on here that you would like for me to cover? All right.
This looks good.
Now, what happens a lot of times, and you'll see, some of you heard me talk to CJ. I am considering starting a course like how to work with virtual assistants, because I do tend to help a lot of agents in when they get to virtual assistant side, how to kind of set that up and how to do it. So I might create a class on that. If you have interest in it, let me know after we get done. So why should you leverage? Well, we know that there's only 24 hours in a day, right? We all have the same 24 hours, and learning to use them their best potential is the core of the time management. That's Zig Ziglar. As your business builds, we get so busy. So we either gonna find ourselves totally off balance with our personal life, and then our families suffer, our friendships suffer, or even our health can suffer, or our service level will suffer. And when the service level suffers, we can lose clients and leads. And it's all about the script. So when you start leveraging things out, it's all about how you present that to your future clients to make sure that they know. So what time leverage allows you to do is multiply the rate you can get things done. And the key component of time leverage is delegation. You don't have to necessarily hire employees that are on your staff. You can hire and leverage out contract workers so that you don't have to worry about necessarily dealing with the, you know, the challenges of if things change in the economy and now you're going to have to lay employees off. If they're just contract workers, or you're hiring a temporary time agency to do work, or even taking people in your office to help them kind of run errands for you and doing things for you, you know, as business slows down or as business increases, you can kind of adjust that and not feel like you have to have an employee. And also you can leverage your time by hiring new employees. You can build systems and processes. You can automate a process with technology and then outsource it like what I've just talked about, and then utilizing the downtime that's possible to make sure that you're still having a good balanced life. So one of the first things I tell people when they say, I am super busy, I don't know how I'm going to get things done, I ask them, how do you know where your time goes? Have you guys ever done exercise where you journal your time during a 2-3 day period and you write down every single 30-minute block of what you did? It's really depressing when you do, because we, me included, will say, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. And then I realized that Netflix got 2 hours of my time because I was watching Netflix while I was working, and I really wasn't productive because I was watching Netflix, right? So during time and seeing, you know, how much time goes into what, and, you know, if you say I'm working 12 hours a day, did you really work 12 hours a day? Or, you know, during those 12 hours, did 30 minutes of that be you washing dishes because you're working from home, or you were doing some, you're watching out and you see a neighbor outside, you step outside to take your mailbox and you talk for 30 minutes. So most of us don't really work 12 hours when we say we're working 12 hours. Also make sure that you're looking at how much time goes into some of your personal stuff and your business stuff. I was notorious for running personal errands during my business day and saying, oh my God, I just did a 12-hour day. But 2 hours of that was running errands and going to the grocery store. That wasn't business, right? So I'm big on color coding your calendar. You can color code however you want to, but even as a new agent, start color coding your calendar right away. So when you feel like you're getting so busy, you can look at the things that are in yellow, because those are the things you can leverage. So I always say when you run a business, the way that I color code my calendar is money is green. So if I have a listing appointment, I have a buyer appointment, those are all in green. If I host a home buyer seminar, that's in green because I'm looking for buyers, right? Anything that's tied to money is in green. Now, in real estate, going to a closing, is that green or could that be yellow? Could somebody else go to your closing?
I mean, I guess they could. Yeah.
Good. Depending on your business, right? I mean, for me, go to my closings, because that's like the wrapping up the transaction, and that's when I ask for referrals, right? But I know that if I can't make it to that, I have people that I leverage and they go in my place. So technically on my calendar, I can put that as yellow, because if I start noticing that I have to work more than 20 hours a week, something is going to have to give. And that might be one of those, because sometimes the closings can be on the other side of town. And Sonia, you don't know, but Atlanta is a mess during traffic hours. So if you got a 4 o'clock closing, you're on the other side of town, it could take me 2 hours to get to the other side of town to get home. So, you know, knowing that that might not be the smartest time for me, then you can put that as yellow. So you got to decide on your business. Like, do you get referrals by being in closing, or could you get them a different way? I put everything in personal. I put on as pink, one of my favorite colors. Like if you have a child and the child's birthday party is, you can't really outsource that. Picking up the balloons, getting the stuff could be outsourced, but you got to kind of go to your kid's birthday, right? Going on a date, got to go to that. You're going to the gym, If you can figure out how to outsource that and be fine and be fit and somebody else does it for you, let me know. I'm still trying to figure that out. So all of those kind of things where you got to be there in person, pick your favorite color and mark that as that. I do all of my training in purple. And the reason I do it in purple is just from Bold. Bold is a training class that we've, a lot of us have taken with Keller Williams. So purple has become the thing. And even like when I train other people, I do put that in purple, even though I could get referrals on it. But really it's about me training, because when I do train and teach certain topics for Keller Williams University, I also learn when I do. And then I do everything else like that could be leveraged in yellow. Okay. And if you're taking CE classes, or if you're doing anything else, you can always create other colors, but those are like my core colors I always tell people to start with. And then you can go and do some more colors if you wanted to. So yellow is things you can leverage, right? So it's kind of like stoplight, green light, right? You got the yellow in between. And when you get so busy that you pull out your calendar and start looking at all the things in yellow and writing them down and figure out which one am I going to give up? Which one takes the most amount of time? Now, with that being done, said, a lot of the agents, newer agents, will manage their paperwork to closing. Okay. I don't. I think I did 1 or 2 transactions, and right away I hired a transaction coordinator. If you are doing paperwork after your client goes under contract, the paperwork that you do from when a client goes under contract and gets to closing, honestly, that could be leveraged out, and it's called the transaction coordinator. Anything admin wise, you're not really making money anymore. You made money by hiring the client, or the client hired you, and getting them under contract, and everything after that, you need to go and get more business. So all the paperwork and everything that's behind it, that shouldn't be in green. I think that should be in yellow, and that should be something you can definitely leverage. So how do you know what to leverage? So some of you that are newer in real estate, and some of you that are starting a business that's online, you might not have an hourly rate yet. You don't know how much you're making, but so you can kind of just say, you know what, right now I'm not making no money, so I can't leverage nothing, because you can't leverage unless you're making money. So I always say that before deciding what to leverage out, you want to look at what the cost would be. So if you take, let's say you make $100,000 a year, you can take $100,000 that's, and divide it up to 52, which is a weekly amount. Then the weekly amount means you're making $1,923 a week. This is all gross numbers. If you work 40 hours a week, you're basically making 48 hours. Now, if I'm only working 20 hours a week, that's a little bit different. So understand and know how many hours a week you're really putting in. I have 3 questions I ask myself when it comes down to deciding, is this something I want to leverage out? Is this something I want to delegate? I say, can I pay someone to do the work for less than what my hourly rate is? My hourly rate right now is about $250, I do believe, right? Not in 2023, because I've been sitting on my butt not doing work, but on a normal basis, it's about $250 an hour. So do you think I clean my house?
Nope. No.
Nope.
First of all, hey, I don't enjoy cleaning. Do you?
Nope.
Okay. So
Nope.
my cleaning lady charges me $120 for like 2.5 hours of cleaning. That's a no-brainer for me. I pay her, and I also write it off in my taxes because I have an Airbnb. So I just mark it like it's my Airbnb cleaning. Done. So you start looking at everything that you do. And I always say, can I pay someone to do the work for less than my dollar amount? So if I'm now taking her, she's coming in and cleaning, and I take those 2 hours and I sit and lead generate, I'll make a lot more money by paying her. I'm not taking a loss on it, right? Also, am I good at it? Could I clean? Honestly, at this point, I'm probably not good at cleaning no more, because the way my back and my knees hurt, ain't nobody trying to be down here scrubbing floors. Not my jam. I don't want to do it. And then do I like to do it? I do not. I enjoy coming into the house and it's already been cleaned. So I use cleaning as an example, but there are some things I do like. Like, tell me something that you probably could leverage that you actually like to do.
For me, it would be the grocery store.
Grocery shopping. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
My
how can you
niece does a lot of online, she does the pickup. But I like to go pick up my own produce and stuff.
Right. So then, and you like it and you're probably good at it. Cause I use Instacart and like I had 4 tomatoes come and 2 of them were rotten. I was like, really? Like how stupid are you to not notice that the 2 tomatoes were rotten. I was just blown away and I was like, man, I just wasted money. But guess what? I stayed home and I did these equity letters to my clients during the time instead of going to the grocery store. So, right. And so you have to kind of figure it out. And something else, if you got a big family and they depend on you, you could have somebody food prep your food. It's not that expensive. Instead of spending 2 hours a night doing food and not eating out, right? So there's a lot of different things that you can do. The question always becomes, do you like to do it? Because if you do and you're good at it, do it, right? And then can I pay someone else to do it for less than my money? So you can start thinking about things that you don't enjoy doing that you might want to leverage out. And so that way you can start already in your head going, you know what? In my business, I can leverage these, but what about my personal life? Like, what else can I leverage that I'm spending a lot of time on? I actually had a couple of my friends who are real estate agents. They started leveraging other parents for like drop-offs and pickups for kids. And what they did is she did it 1 day a week, the other parent the other day a week, and now she only had 1 day a week instead of having to go to school 5 days a week to pick up the child. So like there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. That's not requiring money. It could just be bartering system. Okay. So we talked a little bit about who to hire for your personal cleaning service, landscapers. I don't do my landscaping. They come out every 2 weeks. I pay them $45. Totally worth it. Laundry service. If you don't want to wash your clothes, they have companies that actually come and pick it up. Nannies and babysitters, chef and food prep, grocery shopping. There's apps for that. Dog walkers. And yes, even dog poop scoopers. Did you guys know that there's poop scoopers?
Yeah, they make millions.
They do. I'm impressed because if you have a big backyard, they always leave the dog out. At some point, the poop's got to be scooped up. And so people will pay for the poop scooper to come and not even have to worry about walking the dog. They just let the dog out in the backyard. Whatever the jam is, whatever it is that somebody wants to use, but these are some examples for the personal hire. So I will say that if you're in real estate, highly, highly recommend your first hire to be a transaction coordinator. And then also the next one being a virtual administrative assistant. Okay. I'm actually going to go down. I'm going to go backwards. So transaction coordinator to me is one of the first things, right? And then you have marketing, social media. Until you start making money, I always say lead with revenue. So if you're not making money, don't hire a marketing company to do your marketing. Don't hire somebody to do your social media. You can't hire anything like that until you're making some money. But transaction coordinator is great. And this is why. They don't get paid until you what?
Close.
Until you close. And if the deal falls apart and it gets the deal gets terminated, do they get paid?
They do not. And
They do not. So you see now where I say TC is good, because if not, and you have 2 people under contract, especially when you're new, they say that an average, contract to close takes about 15 to 20 hours extra time, sending emails, checking on things, all that stuff. So if you can take that 15 to 20 hours back over a 30-day period, because normally let's say closing is 30 days, and you spent that making calls and looking for new customers and clients, you could totally make that so much faster. Okay, say transaction coordinator, but make sure if you're a new agent, make sure you do at least 1 transaction first so you know how it's done, and then hire somebody out because you want to make sure you know what actually happens behind the scenes. My next favorite hire after that is a virtual administrative assistant. I had a team before. I had one buyer's agent, I had a virtual assistant. I'm sorry, I had an in-house assistant. I had also a transaction coordinator. I had somebody did my marketing for me, a contract worker. Right before COVID, I dissolved my team. Did not know COVID was coming. Everything worked out exactly how it needs to be. And my buyer's agent that was on a team is in our office still, and she's kicking butt and doing great, right? I probably will not hire an in-house assistant ever again. And I'm gonna tell you just my reasoning for it. I want my business to be more virtual because I'm not gonna be sitting in the office. I'm in my house right now. I have an office in the office in Buckhead. I'm barely there. It's really to store my stuff. And then my showing assistants and agents that are on my downline and people that I'm mentoring, they can use my office as well. So I kind of keep that because that's just better than putting it all in the storage, because I have quite a bit of marketing materials and signs. So what is a virtual administrator and admin, and what do they do? Honestly, anything I don't want to do. The only thing they can't do is things that they have to do in person, like folding these up because I want my letters to be handwritten, right? They can't do that because my virtual assistant, CJ, who's on this call, is in the Philippines. CJ does a great job. She does all the stuff I don't want to do. So what an admin virtual assistant is great for is all the things behind the scenes that's not customer facing. That's what they do. So my admin does all my birthday wishes on social media and LinkedIn. She does all my listing input, all my weekly recaps on my listings, drafts all my offers up for me. I just give her the terms and then I look it over and I send it out. She runs my transaction coordinator work up to 5 a month. And the reason I did that is, you know, the amount of money I'm paying a virtual admin, if she could just keep X amount of transaction coordinators, because normally you pay about $400 a transaction. Basically, if she closes 4 transactions in a month, I got her for free and she works 40 hours a week for me instead of sending it out to TC. So you got to kind of, if you get a virtual admin, you want to make sure you talk to somebody that's already had them, because you want to figure out what is going to free you up the most time or give you the most bang for your buck, and make sure that they learn those things first. So you don't just give them everything, because they're not going to be able to handle all that. So a lot of times they say when you hire, you need to have 3 months worth of their salary set aside. But I always say if you got a TC and you eliminate the TC, now the number is going to be a lot less. Okay. I talked a little bit about what you can contract out or leverage out. TC, marketing, social media, virtual assistant, and showing assistants, showing agents, and agent partners. I know I had 3 different names there, but it's all the same person. It is a person that shows your houses. I show houses over a certain price point and show houses in a certain area or with certain clients. I don't want to call them VIP clients, but if they're like a personal referral and I kind of need to be there, I might show the first showing. But I have showing assistants that show it, because if I live here and I live in Atlanta, city of Atlanta, I live over there by West End, Oakland City. I'm 10 minutes from the airport. That's why I live on this side of town. I can jump on the train to get to the airport. If I have to go all the way to Beaufort on the other side of town to show a house, it's going to take me an hour and 15 minutes with no traffic. With traffic, it'll take it over 2 hours. If I need to go and show one house, it's not good use of my time. I just does 3 to 4 hours in a car, and the way my back works, I don't do well in the car for long periods of time. So I do actually have 2 showing assistants that help me. They also are building their own businesses, but when I need help, they step in and I pay them per door. Sometimes you can also pay them per a percentage. So they are working with that client all the way through, and then they might get 10% or so at closing. You can also have an in-house assistant where you actually pay them a salary and they always do your showings. I know this is going to sound silly, but depending on where you live, like I have friends that are agents in New York, they hire a driver. So when they're showing houses, so they got to go from one side to another because parking is a mess in New York City, they actually hire a driver. So somebody met a cool Uber driver was like, all right, if I need you to drive me for 2 hours, 3 hours, how much are you going to charge me? And they're like, all right, $50 or $60. And that's what they do. So they hire a driver for when they're doing showings or when they need to do, they have so much to do and they can sit in the back of the car and work. Runners are great. Your office probably has a lot of newer agents that want to make some extra cash. So you could actually hire them to drop stuff off, pick things up, pick up checks, dropping off checks if you need to between an attorney's office, earnest money checks, things like that. And then my favorite is internships. If you're linked to a college close by, create some internships, you know, especially over the summer. Because one of the things I will say about this new generation, they might not be as great at problem solving as we are, but they know that doggone social media. They know how to do some of this tech stuff behind it. So sometimes internships are great. And just a small little tidbit, if you have your LLC set up, make sure you have kids, look at your tax laws and put your kids on payroll. Your kids could be doing things like this, filling out the envelopes, sending them out, etc. Okay. So highly, highly recommend looking at tax laws, because that is a great way to get some more tax shelters, and you can put that money aside for your kids, for them in the future. Because you don't have to always just give it to them, but you can pay them and put it aside. So who to hire for your business? I talked about that already. So what are some of the tools that I use? I use Trello. Have you guys ever heard of Trello?
No.
Yes.
Okay, Trello is pretty cool. Trello is like Post-it notes. It's almost like a Post-it note. So I use that with my admin too. So on a weekend when she's not working, I literally have ideas that come up. I put the to-do list, and then I can go in there and pull them in. Okay, here's your success list. Like today, on top of everything you always do, I need these extra things to be done. So I use Trello a lot for that. I even use Trello for my grocery list. So I have check boxes. And so when I run out of something, I just go in there and click it. So less time I have to think about things. There's a lot of texting apps too for if you want to send it to your clients. I like Hit 'em Up. The reason, and I know that through Command we have, was it Twilio? I'm not a big fan of Twilio, and the reason I'm not a fan of them is it doesn't come from your phone number. So I pay $5 a month to have Hit 'em Up, and I have the group set up for past clients, buyers, sellers. It takes a little bit of upfront to do it, but when I get ready to send a text, it comes from my number. And before I send it, whatever I drafted up, it pops up, shows me their name that it put in there. And then I can go and change it a little bit. So if I know they have a dog, I'll be like, new dog, I'm gonna be like, I hope everything's going great with the new dog. Just wanted to invite you to da-da-da-da. So it looks like it's personal and it's just not a mass email. So I use Hit 'em Up a lot. If I ever have to do virtual staging, I do use an app or use Box Brownie for that. Or I go to Fiverr, and I have some people on Fiverr that do a lot of work for me. And if you're a new agent and you need to get, your Excel spreadsheet put together so that you can get all the people in Command, I've even hired them to just kind of sort through and update my, make sure it's in the right columns for the way that we have to get it into Command. So I use Fiverr a lot for like odd jobs. It's online. You tell them how much you want to pay. We use AMC cards for like anniversary cards and things like that. I like it because my virtual assistant can handle that. And my virtual assistant is with Cyberbacker. And if you're interested in Cyberbacker, let me know. I can connect you with the people there. My current Cyberbacker, CJ, has been with me for a year. I've been with Cyberbacker for 2 years. And the owner that started it used to be an agent with Keller Williams. So they are familiar with all of our systems, programs, Command, all of that. I don't even put my for sale signs out anymore. I outsource that with Reliable Post here. Wherever you are, they probably have one. Not good use of time to go out there and start hammering down a post, and especially when it hasn't rained, the sweat and equity, it's never right. It doesn't work. So I just pay them for them to go and put the sale sign up, and they store my signs and then they bring it back. I use G Suites. We're a Google company. And G Suites have been great because all of the things that we do, checklist, past client worksheets, everything is there. So my admin doesn't have to send me stuff back and forth. It's just all housed there. We use Canva a lot for our social media. And what we've done just to get some really cool Canva templates. If you're on social media, sometimes the social media apps come up and it says, it's a $99 package, for $29 to $39, you can get templates through Canva, and they'll give it to you, and they'll update them every month. We just did that for 1 month, got some really cool templates off, and we manipulate. There's a lot of those kind of companies are great for social media as well, just to get some extra data and things that you can send it, like buyer brochures, listing seller brochures, things like that. So there's quite a bit of tools that are out there. It just depends on what you're looking for. These are like the top ones that we use probably the most, that I wanted to kind of cover with you guys and share that with you guys. I could go and dig deeper in some of the other ones too. This is just like the basic of how to and what to leverage out. And so now what I want to do is just have some conversations, and we can kind of brainstorm, or you can pick my brain a little bit, ask me questions so you can get what you want out of it.
Can you talk more about how you use the Hit 'em Up texting app?
Let me switch it. So I hit 'em up texting app. The key with hit 'em up is to make sure that you're setting your groups up correctly in the beginning. So this is my hit 'em up app. And as you can see, I have a group set up and my group is past clients. And so I basically put them all in there as past clients. I don't know about how you do your clients in your phone. I made the mistake of, I'll put like, when I get a referral, I get somebody that says, hey, Al is looking to buy, I'll put Al, potential buyer, in the phone, and then Al becomes a client, Al stays in the client, and I forgot to take it off. Or if I met Sarah at Boxcar and she might put in sell her house, I might put Sarah, seller, Boxcar Brewery, right? And so I had all this extra stuff. So I actually had to go into my phone and take them off, like change their names, because that's how it's pulling it, how your names are in your phone. That was the first thing, and making sure I'm putting them as your first name, first place, last name at the last name, not first name, last name in the tops. Because what it is, it's kind of like a mail merge. It then pulls, if I do past clients, it pulls Al, but I could put Al Goins, but who's going to text somebody's last name, right? Or if they're sending a text. So now I might say, greetings. Hey, greetings, Al, it's Natalie. Just want to check in on you. It also has a, if you have birthdays over there, it has a place for the birthdays. Some of the new groups I'm going to start putting in now is groups for retiring overseas. I have a lot of clients, a lot of people I know that are wanting to retire overseas. I want to create a group just in case, because I'm getting ready to host seminars really specific for like different countries. And if you want to stretch your dollar and retire in another country. So I'm going to create a group that has that. So everybody that I know that has interest on it. So if I'm traveling and I'm somewhere, I might send a picture of like, hey, I'm in Costa Rica doing research for it, for our next thing, and just send it. If you got foodies, you can mark them as foodies in here, just like kind of like tags, but just put them in groups. So how you know, Father's Day is coming up. If you know people are fathers, you can put, yes, it will. Sorry, somebody couldn't get on. One of the other things that I like about Hit 'em Up is the fact that once a text goes through, like when I put the text of what I want to send and pick a group. So if I could pick my foodie group and I went to a new restaurant in Atlanta and the food was great, I took a picture, I might say, I was thinking about you, and then the picture of the food. And then I'll say, it's a new restaurant in Atlanta. You should check it out. It's called blah, 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 Natalie. We know that we don't have to say anything about real estate. If they know that we think about them, they think about us. They know we're real estate agents. We have to stay on top of mind. So it's all about setting them up in advance. Now, when I get ready to, if Al is one of my foodies, it says Al, and I know Al's wife just retired because I saw it on Facebook. I might say, hey, Al, just thought about you. I was in a restaurant. I know you, and I can go in that one specific message. I create this mass message and then put, I know your wife just retired. You should take her out there. Right now it's even more specific. So it doesn't just go send. I could go send and send everybody, but it allows me to pull up like every single one and I go, yep, I like it, send. Okay, I want to change this, send. So if I have somebody I don't say greetings to because they're a close friend, I'm like, yo, what's up, Freddie? So I'm going to change it to that, right? And then send it. But the core of the content is there and it's easy to get through it. So like when I took Bold, I sent out 98 messages in less than like 7 minutes.
Okay.
Because the core information was there. And I not for everybody, I did something specific. For everybody else, I kind of went. But if I knew there was something specific I wanted to put in, I was able to.
Got it.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question, because you mentioned Google Suites is your ecosystem, and it's our ecosystem too. So we use it with a Google number. And I was trying to look them up on this Hit 'em Up. Are you able to use that with a voice over IP number or a Google number? Do you know, or do you have to with your phone?
I'm not sure. It depends on your phone. And the reason I say that is the app is really tied to your contacts on your phone. You see what I'm saying? So it depends on how your Google phone number is set in there. Like I have 2 phone numbers to my phone that goes into one phone. I'm not a big fan of Google numbers. And the only reason for it is these kind of things. It's just, it's glitchy when you want to utilize technology around it. Now, what I have had other agents do is use Twilio through command and send that. And what they do is prior to that, they do a call campaign around it. A text that goes out saying, hey, please put this number as one of our numbers, because this is how we're going to give you information data. So if they lock you in as, home approval team in your phone with that phone number, then when it comes, it should pop up and they know it's from you. I'm more relational because I don't have a desire to have a big team. I'm the contact person for my clients. So to me, it didn't make sense. So if you're looking to have something that your whole team can do, then I would highly recommend probably looking at Twilio instead, and just making sure everybody tells them that, hey, this is our office number. We're growing, we're a big team, but when we send information out about all our events, this is the number it's going to come from. The good news with Twilio when you send it out from command is the fact that it then marks it that the text went out in the command, right? And so, especially if you have a team, I would probably look into that more.
Okay, thank you.
You might want to create something with your VIP clients and have that, and just your sphere and people that you contact, because obviously I'm sure your database is kind of divided, but the people in your phone you probably actually deal with more than the people.
No, everything goes to our Google number. That way I don't have to worry about when I'm out of town or she out of town, whoever, it allows us to communicate on that one number. So I can see all the conversation. I see all the text messages. I can see the calls. It eliminates that extra, call, hey, can you give me that update or what that person called about, or let me leave you this number because I'm going to be out of town, all that. So when we set it up,
I forget the name of it, but I've heard a couple of teams using other than Google numbers, but I think it's a paid service, more paid service.
we
And
pay for Google. So I would like to know that, but yeah, we pay for Google too. So
yeah, but it sounds like for you, it would probably be Google. And Sonia, for you, if you're going to be international, highly recommend using WhatsApp, especially having a WhatsApp number, and everybody internationally, everybody knows that. The other thing too is I have an iPhone. So a lot of my clients have iPhones. So when I'm out of the country, I call them FaceTime, or I call them on my phone, and I don't have to run up my bill at all. And half of the time my clients don't even know I'm out of the country. Like, because I pick up and answer like I'm not, just because I have a good plan with T-Mobile. So if you're looking to have travel a lot, highly recommend getting T-Mobile. They don't charge an arm and a leg. They don't charge arm and a leg. Like I was with Verizon, and for every day I had to pay an extra $10. With T-Mobile, I can take text messages and use my data, no problem. I don't get charged anymore. And if I have to pick up a phone call, it's only like 20 cents a minute. But if they don't have an iPhone, I go, okay, so I might pick up a call and be like, hey, look, I'm actually out of the country. Let me call you on WhatsApp. Do you have WhatsApp? And then we go on WhatsApp. Or if I know they have iPhone, like, hey, let me call, and I send them a text, let me call you with my iPhone. So it just helps with when you travel a lot. And I'm not talking about if you just go on 2 trips a year. I'm talking about the people like that go 1 trip a month, or are looking to their business when they're always gone, right? So you want to figure out how can you do this? Because when I started traveling, I had Verizon, my little $140 bill was $240 because I was in Sweden for 10 days.
Exactly.
And I was like, wait, what? This is dumb. So I changed that pretty quickly. Yes, WhatsApp is great. Somebody put that in their chat. Somebody said, I don't maximum. Lisa, what did you say? I don't maximum my VA. You have a VA?
Yeah, we have one. I was saying some of the information you share with the VA, just even the simple things like having her do the birthday post of that. I didn't even think to do that. But we don't maximize to the best of our ability. So like Key's getting ready to go out for a little bit. And I was like, what do we have to do?
Right. If you want to, I can send you, hold on 1 second. CJ, do we have a list of what you kind of do every day? We have that in our procedures manual, right? Yeah, the virtual assistant description.
Yes, we do.
Okay, can you do me a favor, Lisa? If you want it, go ahead and just put your email there, and CJ will send it to you.
Thank you.
Welcome. And if anybody else wants it to, just put it in chat.
Thank you, CJ.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important to utilize your virtual assistant the correct way. I'm gonna tell you the agents or the people that business owners, not just agents, that really that complain about having a virtual assistant, and they had a regular assistant, had a virtual assistant. I think it's not the virtual assistant, it's the fact that they did not know how to use it at a high level. right? Because the only reason I'm doing these little letters and doing this right now, I normally pay people in my office, new agents, to do this. I pay them $10 an hour and they do it. The only reason I'm doing this because I promised my business coach that I would actually send them out, because I have never in the 5 years done any kind of manual labor like this since I started leveraging. And she just kind of thought it would be funny for me to do it. And we're tracking how long it took me. CJ, how long have I been working on these letters? Let's be honest.
I think for about 2 to 3 months already.
Yeah, you see? So when I tell you, this is why I leverage, because if I have to do certain things, it doesn't become priority. So I'm finishing them up. They're going out today because I was like, this is ridiculous. I just kind of kept them there. So Lisa, you'll get that. She'll send it to you. And if there's anything else that you need, I feel like we've kind of done a really good job of figuring out how to leverage things. And we have a lot of checklists and things like that as well. So yeah, just let us know. We're always an open book. We want to see other people succeed. Let me talk a little bit about the scripts I use with my clients. I think that's a very important one. When I start working with a client, when I start working with a client, I use the word we and my team a lot, okay? When we do a buyer's consultation, in the buyer's consultation, we explain right away that I'm the main person that you're going to be in contact with, but my showing assistant or showing agent is going to be the one showing the houses. And the reason for it is there's not enough time in a day for us to be able to see anything new that comes on the market with all the buyers. And my skill set is not to open doors. What they are hiring me for is looking at the comparable market analysis to see if it's priced correctly, negotiating it, creating the relationship with the agent, looking for off-market properties, giving them the vendors to make sure that we can get a good inspection done on it, guiding them in areas, doing the buyer's consultation. That's what they need me for. The opening the door is not what they need me for. Now, with that being said, I normally go and see every house that we have gone under contract while we are under contract. Hold on. I'm about to choke. Here gets my tea. We normally, when we go into contract and go and look at a house. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I'm dealing with allergies really badly. And I just like choked up.
Oh, hope you're okay.
No worries, no worries. Make sure you're okay. We're okay.
I'm so congested. I just can't. This is one of the other reasons I'm looking forward to moving to Europe. They don't have pollen like we do. The pollen here is wicked in Atlanta.
Yes.
Yeah, Stephanie's like, yep, sure is. So I tell them up front what they're hiring me for. I even cover this, which I know a lot of agents don't. I tell them straight up, you're not hiring me to find you a house that's listed. You can find it yourself via realtor.com and Zillow and the Keller Williams app that you have downloaded. Anything that hits the market, you're going to see. So when you see something, send it to me. I'll take a look and see if it's a good fit. And then we can go ahead and schedule a showing. My job is to find coming soons and off-market properties for you, sending out letters for buyers. So if you want to be in a certain neighborhood, that's what you're hiring me for. And when I do those things, they understand up front what they are getting when they hire me and my team. I have yet to have somebody, bark back and say, well, you know what? I don't think I want to, work with you guys. I want my agent to be the one showing houses. Everybody always goes, that makes total sense. And, and I want to say it's going to be hard for all of us to kind of match our schedules. So we want to make sure that we have somebody that's going to be available on the time you can go. And when they say, hey, we're going to go look at a house tomorrow at 5 o'clock, I'll find one of my 3 agents that can show at 5 o'clock the next day. So it fits their schedule. And so I tell them up front, and on my listings, same thing. I tell them, you're going to be working in my team. CJ's the paperwork person. If you had me doing paperwork, I don't think we'd ever get anything in. And they all laugh about it. I say, CJ is the one that, you know, checks and balances, make sure all the paperwork is loaded up and things are there. And then I will host some open houses, and my team will host some other open houses as well. So they know what they're getting me for on both sides. And that's always been what I think the struggle for a lot of business owners that want to hand things off is the fact that you got to say that up front. Because if you don't say it up front, and then next thing you know, they don't see you, and there's always somebody else showing the house, that's an issue. They're like, well, where are you, right? So I have yet to have an issue where somebody, you know, didn't want to work with me. And if honestly, if they didn't want to work with me, I'm fine with that. Hey, go work with somebody else, because I'm not going to start working 50 hours a week because I have to show houses now. That's one of the main reasons why I only work 20 hours a week. It's because I've leveraged out showing houses. And in Atlanta, you know, if I'm going to one other side of town, if I'm showing houses for 2 clients, that could be 6 hours, even if it's just 3 houses on each, if they're on different sides of town. So that doesn't make sense to me. My 20 hours a week is about 5 hours a day. And the 5 hours a day should be lead generating, working on negotiating. Like I have $1 million house listed right now, and I'm negotiating with an agent on an offer we received that I feel like was a little too low. And so that's my job. That's what I do. So always using the scripts and having those conversations up front is helpful. And then to make sure that they're okay with that, is they, you know, after hearing this information, you know, how does that make you feel? And because if you ask them that and they say, you know what, but I kind of want to have an agent that knows what they're doing and looking at it, I'm glad you asked me. The people that are showing the house have all been trained by me. If you like the house, they're going to send me a video of it, or they're going to go back in there and do FaceTime with me so I can see it. They have a checklist of things that they look for, and they let me know on all the houses that they show. And on top of that, they know what you're looking for, and those are the things that they're going to be pointing out for you. So when my showing assistant goes and shows it, if the wife wants a gourmet kitchen to cook in, and the husband wants a man cave, they will mention, like I send a text and say, hey, they want this, this, and this, and this. These are the non-negotiables. And while he walks it, he'll mention those. So they know that he's involved in conversations with me. And both of those ways have definitely worked and helped a lot. Anything else that you want me to dig deeper? I could jump into like my admin and pull up the admin list if you guys want to, but I know there's a couple of agents on here that are newer, so you might not be where you want to hire a virtual assistant yet. So I'm not sure if that's going to be helpful or not.
Can you go a little bit on, I guess maybe this can help even our newer agent, because you did say your first piece you would do is different than the model, is doing that transaction coordinator. So do you have a guideline, a 2-part question. Do you have a guideline or a responsibility list that you give either your transaction coordinator or your showing partner, so they know, hey, this is when you go to these, this is what my expectations. Is that something you have that you can share with us? Because that can help even somebody.
My showing assistants, they've had a showing with me and I've taught them. I don't know if we have an actual list of that. If not, we need one. Hey, CJ.
Yes,
Do we have a checklist for showings?
checklist. I don't think we have that.
Okay, can you create one right quick and then and send me the link and I'll fill it in, but put it for buyer's agent, Excel spreadsheet for buyer's agent or working with buyers, and we'll do a checklist on showings. I can put that together pretty quickly. And what was the other one, Lisa, that you asked? The buyer's agent and then?
I mean, that's like your showing partner, but I also say you're a transaction coordinator.
Yeah, we do have a transaction checklist. CJ, is our transaction coordinating checklist, is that, where do you house that? Is that in our listing or is that buyer or both?
It's actually 2 different checklists. We have listing checklist and then buyer's checklist.
Yeah, if you want to share that with them too, that'd be great. Or you know, yeah, share that with them and then yeah, share it so they have it. And it could be a little bit different, Lisa, because you're in Texas, so some of the things we do might not be what you do, and you might have to do something that we don't do. when I had a transaction coordinator, they kind of had to check their checklist on how they did it because it was a transaction coordinator company. My advice is when you hire a TC, ask them for their checklist and the expectations, right? Because when I hired a TC, the expectations that they gave, from my point of view to them and from them to me, I didn't like it. Like there wasn't enough customer service in it. So what I did is I actually took their checklist and I added extra things to it, or I made the changes. It was too transactional and I needed to not be. So like
That's what I'm hoping for. That's
yeah.
what I'm hoping for, a little layout of it to see
So
what
like,
we do and what we'd be looking for.
yeah, like when I had a transaction coordinator, they had never spoken with a person, so I'd be like, okay, well, it needs to be a call and say, hey, super excited. You guys just got in the contract. Just wanted to give you that great news. The next step is you're going to hear from CJ. And that's the call I make. CJ is going to send you information, the binded contract, and CJ is going to start working on transaction coordinator. If there's anything she asked for you're not sure about, please give me a call. I'll be more than happy to explain. I tell them they don't call CJ. They call me with questions. Okay. Because that's how I'm still involved in it. And it's been much better doing it that way than when they call CJ with a question and CJ tries to explain it. Now they're having to talk to another person. So CJ's behind the scenes for me. I'm the front face to the company. Now, if there's something like we're waiting for a listing agreement to be signed by the sister who's out of the country, she's in Nigeria, and we need that listing agreement to be signed. So she's texting to follow up like, hey, did you get it? When you're going to get it back. So she'll do that type of stuff. But ultimately, if there's an issue or questions, I step in and handle that. Hey, CJ, can you go ahead and pull up the virtual admin sheet and share that? I'm going to go ahead and give you hosting privileges. I just made you a co-host. Oh, no, I know I can make people co-host. I didn't know that. So I'm going to have her pull up just the admin sheet because I think, at least in real estate, guys, the paperwork behind the scenes is what takes a lot of time. The next thing that takes a lot of time is showings. So if you really want to get your leverage out, it is definitely going to be TC, an admin, and showing assistant. So even if you love doing paperwork, like I know agents that are killing it and they love doing paperwork, they don't have an admin, they do it all. They just, they love it. That's their sweet spot, right? But they might have showing assistants and do other stuff. But yeah, those are the top 3 that I would highly recommend. So here is the procedures manual for what my admin does every day, right? Daily operations. And so that's just the things that are on a day-to-day basis. Check emails to see if there are urgent client communication that needs to be answered. Check calendar, do birthday greetings. We have the same birthday greeting. So if you get this greeting from us, you'll know we do this every year. She knows the date that needs to be changed. And that's one that we send out and so she sends it out on LinkedIn and all those, and Facebook. When they respond back, I step in and do another response back to them. So she does the first wave, and then when they respond back, thank you so much for thinking of me. Oh, you're welcome. How is everything? How is life? And hopefully they'll tell me that they're about to have a baby and they need to buy a house or they need to get a bigger house, right? She goes into my social media accounts 15 minutes in the morning, 15 before logging off. I do it in between and reply to any comments to increase engagement. Check for new reviews on website. If not, then she emails and texts previous clients to ask for reviews because we want to make sure we get at least 1 review or 2 reviews a week. Calendar dates, scheduling showings. She actually adds the showings to my calendar and includes a screenshot on that listing information. So she actually schedules my showings if I have a bunch of showings as well. She does my Facebook for live videos. And right now she's taking any live video I do and downloading and uploading to YouTube because we want to get more content on YouTube. She checks DocuSigns for signed documents, creates checklists for each new transactions to listing and buyers. So if we have any new buyers, BBAs. This is her thing that, so when we have a buyer broker agreement, like a sign, there's a thing that she sends out, and there's templates already in Google. Did you guys know that you can set up templates, canned templates in Google? So we have canned templates, and congratulations, you went on a contract. Now you need to pick an inspector. Congratulations, you got clear to close, So that's what she has on there. She knows how to do, like, she just uses that canned template all the time. Oh yeah, she checks and cleans my email throughout the day too. And if there's something important, she marks it, because I get so much just crap. I'm so sick of all the text, emails, stuff I get.
That's what we're struggling with right now. We've been trying to really clean up the email.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, and it's like, it literally is a full-time job just to like check email and clean it up. And like, I think I had CJ, I don't know if you're still doing this, CJ, but you should be like anything that you know and notice that is stuff that junk, especially when we have 2 emails, Natalie via Realtor and Water Hill Real Estate Group. So anything I get 2 of, make sure we unsubscribe the other one, CJ,
Yes.
because we're going to fade away on the other one. Then we use a tracker sheet. And that's was really for my MAPS business coach with buyer pipeline and activity pending and soldings. I'm actually not scaling my real estate business or building it more. It kind of is what it is, and I'm comfortable where it is. I'm actually going into business coaching now, so that tracker sheet is not as important for me. She pays a lot of my bills. She uploads the receipts to G Suites. When we had an ISA, she used to manage the ISA. We don't have an ISA anymore because I actually more referral based. I got tired of getting crazy people. KW, oh, make sure, CJ, I just realized when I said KW command, make sure you go into all the KW commands and put all the equity letters and all the notes for everybody. We have all the 100 and something equity letters that we're sending out. Make sure you go in there and put that they've been sent out today. Just put a note. And also put how much equity was in the letter. So if I get the call, I can see it easily.
Okay, sure.
What
So you
what
use
say
command.
her equity letter look like?
It looks like this on my letterhead. And what it says is, I've been following the Atlanta real estate sales history closely, and your property at 1964 Summit Trace Circle, based on your purchase price and estimated current value of your home, you could have approximately $115,000 worth of equity. Inventory is low and homes are still selling in record-breaking timeframes. This is preliminary step in reaching out. Is typically most helpful in decision-making process around selling, consider an equity line of credit or refinance. I'd be happy to confidentially meet with you to discuss the data and provide you with comparable market analysis. If you decide to sell, we can meet again to discuss process specifics. I believe you will be impressed with my expert marketing plan to get you top dollar, design different ways to help you take advantage of the current market. These went out to all my past clients that had at least $65,000 worth of equity, which is pretty much anybody that bought a house last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
They
you.
bought a house, if they bought a house this year, they don't have it yet. So that's kind of the day-to-day like that she does right there. And then she has like a social media part that she handles and does. For weekends, she feeds all my posts for the weekend. If we have a listing, this is what she's working on. She just finished doing a weekly recap sheet, for example. And click on that for me to always check refer. So you see all these, she has hyperlinks into that to all the documents where we have them. So the reason for us creating a procedures manual is if it has a step-by-step of everything we do. And even our passwords and things are embedded in a lot of these too. So you can go back to it. I just wanted to show that it was a hyperlink. So these are really the systems you want to make sure you have. So here's the listing stuff. And then this is everything she does for me. Contract to close, in command, with buyers, this is what we do with the, these are the things have to be done. Also she does all my templates in DocuSign. So once our new contracts, because we get revisions in June, she goes in there and loads them all up and puts all the things that we normally do on our contracts. The only thing that's empty is like the property address and the amount, but like all the other stuff is filled in already. Like all my special stipulations we usually use, she has them all in there, and then we just take out the ones we don't use. Just makes it easier for us to do offers. You can scroll down. Oh, you can take some of these off now. Oh, actually, no, I'd leave them. Sometimes I have my admin do personal stuff too, like when I'm working on a renovation. So like this was in Red Note, I was using it. So she had all that stuff, like new move out cleaning. If we need to get some cleaning, so I was like, here are some of the companies we use or I use. So, and she updates those. Yeah. And yeah, this pretty much keeps her pretty busy. And some weeks are not as busy as others. And that's when we're working on like procedures manuals and things like that, just to update things. And anytime there's an update or a new change of something that we do, CJ's job is to go into the procedures manual and update it. You can unshare it, CJ.
So you use Command heavily too? Is that
Yeah.
your CRM you use?
That's my CRM. I had all kinds of other ones, you know, paid all kinds of money. And at the end of the day, a CRM is only as good as what you use it, how you use it. And you know, now to me, the more I use Command, the better it is. I love the opportunities part on Command, because then it shows me what my potential, you know, because it looks at how quickly you turn people from contact and opportunity to closing. So it gives me a good snapshot of, you know, how much money can I possibly make with what I have on a pipeline. And I know before it wasn't good for Teams, but from everything I've heard, it's much better with Teams now. So we do use Command. And DocuSign. We don't use .loop because it's owned by Zillow.
Yeah, our office is fully DocuSign too, which I used to come from DocuSign world, so that's okay.
Yeah, everybody else was like scratching their heads when DocuSign came in. So yeah, and is there anything else that you guys would like for me to kind of dig deeper on? And the reason I don't put everything just there, because it just depends on what people want. Because when I do this, I normally have between 6 to about 20 people on these calls. So it's easy to just kind of cover what people are wanting, what the agents or what people are wanting.
No worries. One thing I liked is, you know, definitely your procedure manual. For that, or for anyone who's just starting to put this leverage in place and do those, what is that first piece that you would recommend that we start with to put these process and things in place?
That's a great question. So what I highly recommend is when you start doing anything, you start documenting everything, right? So every day you get on a computer, you do work, but none of it is ever documented. So like your templates and all that, and having a virtual assistant, it was her job to create this, and it's her job to own it. And so I want to be able to go in any of my procedures manuals and say, okay, I have a new buyer. What do I need to do? And then follow it. So sometimes I say, hey, double check the buyer procedure manual when you're doing this client, right? And then she can look through it to see if something was missing on it. When I know that we dropped the ball on something and I'm like, hey, like right now, we dropped the ball. We put a listing a sign out, and the sister hasn't signed it yet. I know she's going to sign it, but technically we can't put a sign out until we have the sister's name on it too. The brother sign, he's the one leading the project. It's a brand new construction over here. So we put a sign out and we don't have that yet. So if for some reason she doesn't sign it, I'm gonna have to pay the money to take the sign off. So needless to say, CJ is gonna go in there, and when it comes to ordering a sign, double check that all parties have signed a listing agreement before a sign goes out, right? So when we have a breakdown of something, I look at, was that on there? And if it's not on there, CJ goes, no, we didn't have that on there. Well, you need to add it on there. So it just it's a working document, and it keeps getting added and added and added. And that's why checklists are great, because as it says, hey, check this and check the checklist. And then when something got dropped, you go and see the checklist. Was that item on the checklist? It was not. Well, now we need to add it, because the more busier you get and the more people you add on your team, and the more stuff you leverage, you have to make sure you have checks and procedures in place to ensure that we don't drop the ball. So that would probably be my, you know, first thing first, if you don't have a transaction coordinator and you do, right, and you're thinking about getting one, ask for their procedures, a checklist. So you know what they're going to do. We'll take that checklist and load it up. And the transaction coordinator, as the transaction coordinator sending emails, you can copy and paste their emails and put it up there. So if you now decide to take that in-house, you have a list of how to do TC work. So if you get a virtual assistant, so that's kind of what I said. So my virtual assistant, CJ, is really good at doing TC work. So I always said that she shouldn't have to handle more than 5, but there was a time we had like 3 currently going, and one new construction that's like 8 months out. But we had like 2 or 3 listings coming on at the same time, and I felt like it was too much. I said, if we get one more under contract, we're going to send that to the transaction coordinator, and which we ended up doing. We haven't used her a lot, but if I noticed and she can't get to social media, she can't get to some of the other things I want her to do, then we go ahead and I'll get the TC transaction coordinator involved, and she steps in and does it. So always make sure that if you have your virtual assistant doing it, understand how many hours a week she can dedicate to that without you having to take on something else. So I will never be without virtual assistant ever again. Like period, point blank, never. It to me was my best hire. That is when I was able to breathe. When I travel, I can actually relax and hang out on the beach and walk around because I know CJ's checking my emails. She's staying on top of business. And then if there's anything that comes up, she's the one that's texting me and checking and letting me know. Then I'll go and check my email. But like, I don't even check my email. Now I check my email twice a day. Unless somebody says they send me an offer, then I go and look at it. Because I squirrel off when I check my email. Because then I get something from a store that has a big sale and I click on that thing, and now I'm buying, 2 more bathing suits from Victoria's Secret because they got their big sale going on instead of what I'm supposed to be doing. So I try to limit my time on yeah. And how big is your team, Lisa?
It's just the 2 of us.
Okay. And is it 2 agents?
Well, I'm sorry, it's 2 of us. We're both licensed agents. She does my director of operations. And then we do have a VA that we have for 2 hours a day. Just because, again, like I said, we was not using her effectively, so we just put our time back. But hopefully, definitely.
Where's your VA from?
She's in the Philippines as well. We got her, I forgot the company that we initially started with her with, but then she branched off and did her own, and we just kept her. We used to have her doing some cold calling and different things like that, but just with everything with with Texas, we're a SUNY state. So just with the do not call and all that, we just started taking that part over and just giving her more daily tasks.
Okay. One of the things I will say about virtual assistants, if you decide to go virtual assistant, and this is for you too, Sonia, and you decide to just do 2 hours a day, or, I'm just going to have a part-time virtual admin, just keep in mind that if you only do part-time and somebody wants to snag them for full-time, you now lose them. Now you have to go and retrain somebody else. So I just had a conversation with Terry in my office, and she wants to hire an admin. She's like, well, I think I only need 20 hours a week. I said, listen, I can tell you ways and how they can do more than 20 hours a week. Even if it's them being on social media for 5 hours a day, or as you guys, and commenting on people's pictures and commenting and just asking questions like, oh my God, they got married. Are they going to look for a house? Or, oh my gosh, you're having a baby. That's great. Is the house still big enough? I mean, whatever you want to say, right? I mean, social media could be a whole 40-hour-a-week job for somebody, because the more you comment and the more you're in people's faces, the more they are in yours, because the algorithm starts looking for your content because you are communicating with them. And so always keep in mind that and in your budget, when you're creating your business plan for the year, like my admin is a non-negotiable. Like the only way CJ won't work for me is CJ screws up early. But guess what? Then I'll still have another cyberbacker because I will always have an admin. Period, point blank. Because the amount of money I'm spending because they're in Philippines is so minimal. And I get so much freedom because I have her running things.
Okay.
Oh, and also because it's with Cyberbacker, I pay with my credit card and I also get American mileage points on my American Express card. I pay all my bills from credit card. So I sit on like 200,000 points, and I also have flight benefits with Delta. So I basically fly for free. So I don't even use my points, except if it's the confirmed ticket I need. So, you know, it's a win-win on all ways for me when it comes to that. So if you're only using your admin 2 hours, you said 2 hours a day?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm sure that they could do more. Do they?
Yeah, but you just have a couple things more that we definitely could be having her do a lot more of, and just didn't even think about it. Like I said, we brought our time down just because we were not effectively using her, and I was spending more money than what I felt, you know, could be using. But just like you said, the social media alone is and making enough of it.
Exactly. All right, well, it is 3:18. I normally do this for about an hour and a half. So if there's any other things, I don't mind staying on longer. I'm getting ready to just make me some hot tea and then get dressed and put on my makeup for these 2 events I got to go to tonight. I guess I have to step out of the house for a second. But is there anything else that you guys would like for me to cover or questions you might have? Well, let me
I
ask you
have
this.
one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
if no one else has a question, I don't want to dominate everything. But since you're so highly leveraged, and I'm sure you've been in the business a long time, so you definitely have referral base. But how is your lead gen time? Is that where you're spending most of that 20 hours at, or
So
how are you?
I'm the type of person that I'm just not going to lie to people. So I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't think I have effectively lead generated in 5 years. What I mean with that is it's not systematic. I'm a people person. When I'm out, I lead gen. It just naturally comes. People go, nah, how's real estate market? Okay, well, then I go into it next thing I know. So that's one of the reasons I was like, let me send these letters out, because I really have not done, I haven't even been out because I've kind of just been comfortable at home and don't even want to be out, and I've been traveling and, you know, being out of the country. So for me, the way I lead generate, what works the best is I'm out and about. I go to my business clubs. I set up, you know, I go like tonight, one of my future clients who owns a hat store, they have an event in Atlanta. So he was like, yo, Nat, you coming? I was like, what you got? I said, yeah, I come and support. So when I come and support, I know all of their people. And just like I support their business and their hat business and send them tons of clients, when somebody says the word real estate, they're like, yo, you got to talk to Nat. Nat knows her stuff. Right. So my lead gen is more so. So when I decide, let me get out here, because I don't mind texting, but I don't like to be on the phone. I am face to face. I hate being on the phone, like just talking, like I rather see people. And so if I was, and be honest, if I was lead generating on the 20 hours, even if I lead generated 20 hours and I lead generated 5 hours a week, I probably would sell 20 million a year. So I sell the 10 to 12 off of just social media, making sure people know I'm still in real estate, them seeing me, them checking on me. I check on them, my past clients and my friends. And because I have been, you know, have had good rapport and do a really good job with my clients, as soon as somebody says real estate, I would say I have about 10, 15 people that when they hear it, they will track that person down and try to connect me with them. So I have my VIPs that I spend more time with than my non-VIPs, if I say it like that. So I have my referral VIPs. I got about 10 people that probably every year I get at least 5, 6 pieces of business between those 10, if not more. And now I'm at the point now that a lot of the people that bought when I first started, it was all buyers. Now they have so much equity that, and now they're having babies and stuff. So now they're like, this house is too little. Now we got to sell the house to buy another one. Right. So I'm referral based, and I have not done a good job. And I like being referral based from clients' referrals because I don't have to pay nothing for it, right? Except, you know, a big smile and hug and what can I do to help you? I used to go after more real estate agents referring me business. The model for that is not necessarily the best for me anymore because I am so leveraged. And so I still do. And I have certain referral partners that I refer to them and they refer to me, but I don't go after it as much anymore because I don't have a team. If I had a team, I would go for it. But I don't necessarily want that many. I don't work with a lot of buyers. My goal is to work with more listings. It's easier on me. And I have more control when it's listings. And I feel like that's definitely my skill set.
Okay, this will be my last question because you did just do a mic drop. I've been in business 15 years. The majority of my business has always been buyers. I'm definitely a strong 70 buyers, 30% seller, but definitely this last year, and also I'm a new Mimi. So my grandson takes up a lot of my time. Again, like little kids, I want to switch that over to listings. What would be, and I'm not a cold caller. I'm not a cold caller. What would be a good way to transition to be more listing focused?
First of all, start selling yourself to your listing machine, your listing agent. You know, it's a mindset, right? For affirmations, hand off your buyers so that you have more time to go after listings. Now, how many transactions have you done over the 10 years that you've been in real estate?
My database, my strong database for me is 196. Now, of course, some of those are married, but
I'll give you an example, right? I've had over 200 transactions since I started real estate in 2014. I went full-time 2016.
yes,
I did monthly buyers in the beginning, right? Well, what do you think those buyers need to do now?
they need to sell, but my people are sitting. They ain't coming off that equity.
Yeah, but then the question becomes, you know, why are they sitting? You know, what is the cost of the freedom or the whatever they need to do, right? So I would highly recommend you sell gold letters out, like the one I just did, and say, hey, just so you know, you have this much. And then this is the other thing. I have so many buyers right now, 3 listings that I picked up. They're going to be listed in the next 2 to 3 months or before the summer is over. Same thing, they were going to sit on it because you know what they say? And all of you that are real estate agents, you might want to take a pen on this one, or put your phone and just record it, what I'm getting ready to say. This is the biggest issue right now. People that own a house, they have a low interest rate. So this is what I tell them. Hey, I know your family is getting bigger. I know there's no way that 2 bathrooms are going to still work for your family. Have you thought about upgrading and going to something bigger? Then they say, yeah, Natalie, I actually have, but you know, I got a 3% interest rate. Like, I don't want to go pay 7% interest rate. Huh? So is the interest rate the only reason that you're deciding not to move currently? And they normally go, yeah. Say, well, does that mean that you're going to be in this house for the next 15 years until your children are out of high school? They're going to be like, no. So you're waiting for interest rates to go down. Yeah. Well, let me explain what's going to happen. Right now, there's so many buyers and even sellers that become buyers like you that are sitting on a sideline and not making a move because they're all waiting for interest rates to go down. Because what you're considering high interest rate right now really isn't a high interest rate. This is an average interest rate if you're looking at interest rates in 50 years. But what we remember is what just happened 2-3 years ago when interest rates went down at 2. I remember when they started dropping from 6 to 5, 5 to 4. And I remember when they went to 5 to 4, I was like, oh my God, they're 4. We've never seen it that low. Then it went to 3 and then it went to 2s. I said, we're not going to ever see, based on all the economists out there, we're never going to see 3% and under interest rates in our lifetime again. That's what they're saying to us. So what is the cost of you not selling your house and moving into something else? What is the cost of that happiness? And let's also be very clear. All those buyers that are waiting for interest rates to go down, when they all decide to clean the market, let's say it happens next year, you call me going, interest rates drop to 5, Natalie, we're ready to go. What do you think going to happen with house prices? Because we still have a shortage of inventory. What do you think is going to happen to house prices when all of those buyers come and enter the market now? And then you stop and pause. You know they're going to say, oh, the prices probably will go up. Yeah, like they did 2 years ago when people had to pay $50,000 more than on a $300,000 house with no appraisal contingency just to get into the house. So you have 2 options. You get a high interest rate or you wait and you pay more for the house. But listen, you're not marrying the interest rate. You are marrying the house. The house is going to give you happiness for you and your family. You can stay there for the next 15 years. What we need to do is look at that. When interest rates drop, instead of you being out there overbidding on things with me to try to get you into the right house for your family, You're just going to sit in the house you're already at. You're just going to refi. So you're either paying right now for a little bit for interest rates and then refi, marry the interest rate, date the interest rate and then refi, and you're married the house and we get you into the house. And right now, you're going to take that equity. And if you're worried about the interest rate being higher, take the equity you have in your house and put that down to have a lower monthly payment. And then when you get ready to refi, you can pull the equity back out because you got equity. So if the monthly payment is what you're worried about, stop talking about interest rate. You're not going to be in this house for 30 years. I don't know, not one person in our generation that's going to be in the house for 30 years. Your needs are going to change. Right now, you need a bigger place for your kids. Then you're going to probably need a basement because now they're teenagers. Then you might need a master on the main because you don't want to go up and down the stairs. And then you're going to need something 2,000 square feet because everybody moved out. Then you might need something 2,000 square feet with a basement because now you got grandkids coming in. Your needs are consistently going to change. And you're over here talking about interest rates. I am your real estate agent by choice. And I'm good at what I do. And I'm great at guiding my clients. And right now, I'm telling you, you're making a mistake. And I've had this same conversation with people 2 years ago, and now they're paying 25 to 30% more for that house. And some of them can't even buy what they want now because they waited. And they waited because they were like, we're just going to wait till the market settles down and market crashes. The market is not going to crash. People are sitting on almost 40, 50% of equity right now if they bought a house 5 years ago. If the market starts dipping a little bit, they can still sell it. There's not going to be foreclosures like people expect, like when we had before. That had nothing to do with supply and demand before. It was about predatory lending. Right now, it's a supply and demand issue. That conversation with my 3 buyers, sellers that need to become buyers, now have opened them up to go, damn, you're right. Let me crush the numbers. Let me talk to the mortgage person. How can we do it so that we can sell and buy? I said, talk to my mortgage guy. We got to figure it out. So I have 3 new listings coming up in the next 3 months off of that conversation. And everything I say is true because I will tell my clients not to sell if I think they shouldn't sell. But those two bathrooms are not going to work for mom, dad, a teenage kid, and now a toddler.
That was good. I hope it recorded right when I got you. So that was good.
Yeah, so you hit them and just show them. And then when they start talking about interest rate, it's like, don't worry about the interest rate. Worry about your monthly payment. Are you comfortable with it or not? That's what we need to worry about. And then have a lender that can sit and run the numbers where they can say, hey, we're going to sell the 300,000. We'll have 150 in equity, but we want to buy a 550,000. What is that monthly payment with the high interest rate? When the interest rates drop, and if they drop, what is that going to go to? And if we put 100,000 down, what are we going to be? But then also, this is another part you guys might want to talk to them about. I haven't even talked about your debt. Now, I know that I'm just your real estate agent, but I am helping you build wealth via real estate. And one of the conversations I want to have with you is, do you currently have debt that you're paying every single month that's not your mortgage? And what I mean with that is credit cards, car payment, student loans. Yeah, nah. Okay, so do you mind sharing with me how much that is? And some of them are comfortable. We pay about $1,000 between all those. Okay, if you were to write a check today to pay all of those off, how much would it be? $70,000. Okay, you have about $150,000 in equity. If you sell your house, you can wipe off that debt, put $1,000 more in your account every single month, move into that other house, have enough money to put the money down payment on the other house, and I guarantee that you're still going to be paying less a month with you having that extra $1,000. So even if you're having to pay $600 more in that new mortgage, you're still winning. You just got to look at the numbers differently. You're just getting caught up in the hype of interest rate because that's what everybody's screaming and yelling. But what nobody's talking about is sitting on the sideline and waiting. If houses only go up 10% a month the next 2 years, your house is only worth $300,000. So yours is only going to go up 30%, $30,000 to 10%, right? Well, what if you now have a $500,000 house or $600,000 house and it goes up 10%? You just doubled your equity by being in that bigger house. So that's another thing I also say.
Thank you.
Welcome. We're wealth builders for our client. We're just wealth building via real estate. The reason I can move to Barcelona right now is I did a 203K in this house. I bought a duplex. I gutted it out. I did a 203K loan. I rent out my Airbnb on beside me. I make $3,000 a month on my Airbnb, and I live on this side for free because my mortgage is less than my $3,000 a month. And I tell my clients sometimes that's what they need to do too. So, you know, our job is to guide them, help them, and have conversations and tell them to stop listening to the news when it comes to real estate. Because all of our markets are different. Louisiana is different than Texas, and Atlanta is different than that. I don't know what y'all two markets are doing right now, but I tell you, me and Stephanie will tell you that Atlanta ain't slowing down.
At all.
Not at all. There's not enough inventory.
Yeah, Texas neither. We're number 2. We're the number 2 state out of all 50 that we're relocation to and relocation from. But as long as we have those corporations move in, we just got another one, we good. That's what I tell clients, don't look for foreclosures here. If you find one,
Well,
I
this
can
is
guarantee
okay, so
you
this is
burn
another
down.
thing too that you might want to tell people about foreclosures. When they,
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
waiting for the market to crash and tell them it's a supply and demand issue, it's not going to happen. I also say that right now there's a big push. What corporations and real estate investment trusts have realized that instead of putting money in the stock market, they want to put money in real estate. And the way that they did that in the last 3 years here in Atlanta area, they bought almost 30% of inventory that was sold in 2020, 2021, around that time during COVID, but 325,000 and under went to institutional investors, and they turned around and put renters in there. They are still
Yeah.
they are still sitting with billions of dollars of money. As a matter of fact, we're not going to see foreclosures go to regular people. When banks have a whole portfolio of foreclosures, they're just going to call them directly, and they're just going to buy them off of them and then turn around and rent them out. We're not going to see that ever hit the inventory market again. All of those houses are gone. And they can't build in that first-time home buyer price points, new construction. New construction is behind 5 years as well.
We have 2 big new construction communities. They just built, like even by my house, one set of townhomes, and they're nothing but rent. Nothing but rent. And they made them affordable, but that builder focused on nothing but rent. So they're not getting them. They're not getting them at all.
And as a matter of fact, now you have builders that are starting to build to sell, and those institutional corporations that come in and buying all the houses and turning into rental communities.
Mhm.
There is. So those real estate investment trusts and all those big boys, their goal is to own 50% of the market in the United States and make that rentals. So if people are not going in and buying right now, they might never be able to buy unless they become a big, have a bigger budget. But that first time home buy price point is disappearing. So that's another thing I talk to them too. So like the buyers that are renting and waiting, I go, listen, you have to become a homeowner, start taking advantage of that. So if we can't get the house that you want because the interest rates are higher and that's putting you in a smaller price point, then instead of getting a house, let's go and get you a townhouse. Let's get you into something, because you're just writing a check for $2,000 a month and it just disappears every single month. And $24,000 you're going to give away. You already been there 5 years. Get away so far to an apartment complex.
Mhm.
So you're not going to probably get your first house is not going to be a dream house. It needs to be something you're comfortable with and it's going to work. So I don't know. We're not waiting no more. We need to find you something and get you into that. And then when you get more money and you have this equity, we can sell this and then get into something else. But we need to get you into a house now so that you could be a part, you can already be part of the game and be an owner. That's another thing I tell people. So these are the conversations I have when I go out and people ask me, how is the market? And when they say, how's the market? I go, oh, market is always interesting in Atlanta. Are you renting currently or do you own a house? And when they say I'm renting, well, let's talk about it. If you don't pull the trigger soon, you'll be able to pull the trigger. And let me tell you, I run through those. And if they're owning, I'm like, oh, great. So you already know you're taking advantage of all this equity your house is sitting on. Yeah, but it's not, I need something, blah, blah, blah. Then they tell me, oh, well, let's talk. Because blah, blah, blah. Then I run the other part that I told you about, right? What's the cost of your happiness is the favorite thing to say.
Wow, what's that? Like your happiness. I like that.
So and what's the cost of your happiness? Because sometimes I have clients that got a new job on the other side of town and he's in a car for an hour. I know your husband has to drive an hour because he bitches about it when I talk to him when we met before. So what's the cost of the happiness of him being in the car for 2 hours and he comes home? Is he in a good mood? Is it present in the family anymore? Because maybe we need to look at moving closer to his job. And so that you can actually have him more home more and the mood is in a better space. So yeah. Cool. Well, if you want this recording, CJ, just shoot an email to CJ. She put it in the chat. If there's anything that you need paperwork wise that I covered, she can send it to you as well. My number is, CJ, can you put my phone number on there for them in the chat? She'll put my email, my contact and phone number too, so you can grab it from the chat and take a screenshot of it. So if you have any questions, always, I'm normally available, even when I'm out of the country. I might just be like, hey, can you get on WhatsApp? Because I don't want to pay the minute price. But hopefully you got something out of this. And if you did, what we would recommend, and if you could do for us, is pull up Warrior Real Estate Group. CJ will send, when she sends an email, she'll send you a link. Would love a review on Google on the fact that, you are a real estate agent as well. And I taught a class and my knowledge and all that stuff, because, it always helps with that.
Absolutely.
Definitely can do that. Definitely can do that.
Awesome. Excellent. And we'll be having, and just so you know, we are going to be having also, if you have clients that have considered wanting to buy overseas, that's going to be one of my big focuses in the future in 2024, hosting seminars that allows me to kind of help them and teach them how to do it. And depending on where they go, what country they go to, also have some connections there, because I'll probably have some teams in different places where most of the Americans are moving, so that I can travel to those countries. And
where are Americans moving? Just curious.
Portugal.
Top 5 that normally always stay, there are 4 countries that stay on top 5 and have been for a while. Portugal is one. But just so you guys know, if somebody's talking about it, the golden visa is changing. I was just in Portugal and I was talking to some of my referral partners there. Portugal's visa is changing. Panama, in Panama City, Panama. I have to always say that, because when I say Panama City, people say Florida. I'm like, no, like Panama City, Panama. Costa Rica as well, and then Belize. What I don't like about Belize, and then a lot of people move to Colombia too and other countries, but the reason those 4 stay on the top is quality of life, safety, affordability, healthcare. So, and you can get a residency in those countries when you invest a certain amount. So I've had almost 3 clients already buy places in Costa Rica, and they've invested enough that they can become residents of that. So one of them is actually there for a month with their kids right now, with his kids. And, he bought it 2 years ago. We went down there, he bought it. He was going to buy another one. And I told him, no, he needs to be on this side with the mountain view and the water view. And he bought it for 190, and now it's in 2 years, it's worth 280 already. And he rents it out every single month, and he pays his monthly mortgage. Wow. So by the time he's ready to retire, it will be paid off. So I'll be definitely doing that. So if you ever want to jump on that and kind of learn that, CJ has to link to a Google sheet that allows you to say what you're interested in. If you're in multiple countries, you can just put that. And when I start hosting those, as well, when I start hosting those, you can come on, but also invite your clients if they want to come, or see how it's done. And then you can start talking to your clients. And if they are interested in the country, you can just connect them with their real estate agent in those country and, receive a referral. If you don't have those connections, I can always help you with that.
Awesome. I'm definitely interested. So I will stay connected, Natalie. I appreciate this. It's been really helpful.
Yeah, and if you know somebody that might benefit on that, I'm glad you guys got a bunch of nuggets. And I'm gonna be honest, COVID is what made me realize I could leverage my business. Because during COVID, people got comfortable doing everything online, right? And I was like, wait, if it worked during COVID, why can't it work always? So I was literally sitting in Mexico during COVID because there was nobody going to Mexico, and I have flight benefits. So basically it was me and like 5 people on a plane and this flight attendants. And I sat in Mexico almost every month for like a week and just worked.
Yep.
And then I came back, and I didn't mind showing houses then because there was no traffic, but not anymore. Traffic, I changed that. Even my listing appointments are virtual in the beginning. And then if I know that we're going to kind of work together, I go in person. I don't even go in person unless I'm in town, but I do a lot of my listing appointments virtually now. Because if we can't agree to at least be in the same ballpark, you want $1 million for your house and I tell you it's worth 500,000, why in the world would I want to drive an hour and a half to go see you? I don't. And that's just how I do it. I'm not saying don't do that. You might want to go in person. That's always better, but I travel so much. So I'm still going to do the listing appointment. I'm just going to do it from somewhere. I did a listing appointment and I was in South Africa, in Cape Town. I was in the middle of the night because of time difference. And I got the listing. And now here we are. I'm about to launch listing next week.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. CJ, did you put the link to our Google review? Or if you can just, you got everybody's email. Looks like everybody get an email. If you could just send them an email, CJ, just one in the whole group. So everybody, and then just put all the documents that we kind of talked about, my contact information, and then also the link to the Google Sheet and the new leverage class also, the next one, in case you guys have any friends that you might want them to take it.
Great. Thank you. Have a good
All
one.
right. You too. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you, CJ.
My
I
pleasure.
appreciate you too.
All right, Sonny, we're gonna have to get together when you get to Europe, when I get there.
Will do. Let's talk. Bye-bye.
Bye, hon. CJ, do you have everybody's information here?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'm about to shut it down. I don't know where it's.
Natalie,
Yeah.
hey, listen, before you shut down, I really do want to just say thank you because I'm actually rethinking my whole business now and our whole decision because I was not leveraging anything in my business and doing everything myself. And it was driving me crazy. And it's a lot of money left on the table for me to walk away because I wasn't leveraging and I didn't know how to scale.
What is your business now?
Meal prep. So, I've been doing food and through COVID, I was feeding 1,200 kids a day. So I was feeding after school programs. But then when COVID came, we couldn't congregate. So
Right.
all that business disappeared. And so now I'm building up a meal prep business, but it was just me. And so it's lucrative, but it was a lot. And so we really do want to move. My husband's ready to move back to Europe, but I don't want to lose that money that's coming in because it's going to go further in Europe. But I have to learn how to leverage my business and build a team so I could come back and forth instead of spending so much time here, maybe come back like every 2 months.
Right. Well, you have a couple options with that. You can be the one that gets the sales and you can outsource it and have somebody that actually does the food and does the prep and you teach them. Right? You just do the teams as the owner and they do all the work.
Yes, that's what I just realized through this meeting today and just really training those people that I'm going to outsource to do the work.
Yep. And then you decide on the menu, on the price. And then, do you have a place where they normally will prep it? Do you have a location or they just do it at home?
No. I have a commercial kitchen that I rent. It's a commissary kitchen. And
There you
so
go. Then you set up cameras where you can see what's happening at all times.
Yep. So, okay, now I got to get back to the drawing board and rethink this and this whole thing about trying to hold on to my house because I have a 1.35 interest rate and we really don't want to be here anymore. And I'm sitting on a lot of equity. I purchased my home in 2008.
Yeah, and so if ultimately your goal is like same thing with me. Like my move to Spain is permanent, but in the beginning I'm going to run my team like the way I do now here, and I'm gonna build another team. But once I build my business enough there, I'm selling my business here.
Yeah, that's it. We want to move permanently to either Poland or Portugal, and because my husband is an EU citizen, we don't have to worry about the whole visa thing. So we're good wherever we go in the EU.
Exactly. And if you build this as to be a lucrative business and you have somebody that might be interested, you can then sell this to somebody and sit back and collect monthly checks while they're running the business.
Yeah, I need to sit down and really look at that because it's too much money in meal prep to leave. It really, really is. I just need to get a better system.
Yep.
Yeah. Look, I might be calling you because I need a business coach. You're going to have to tell me, even though it's not real estate. I know
No. So that's the thing. My business coaching, I'm getting certified. I'm going to take the test next week. I'm actually not teaching. I'm not actually coaching real estate. I don't want to coach real estate because that's what I do. I'm coaching all the businesses and they have all the systems and procedures and all that stuff. It's called MAPS Business Coaching. So yeah, if you're interested, definitely let's have a conversation. I mean, like the reason my business blew up is I hired a coach.
Gotcha.
And I've had a coach ever since. So since
I
2016.
hired the wrong coach, honestly. I hired the wrong coach. I really did, but it's done. It's over with. I'm not gonna wallow on that. So, and I truly know who you are anyway. So I know it's gonna be good. So I'm definitely interested.
Oh, perfect. And then I'm with a MAPS business program. So all the systems and procedures and all the systems and stuff is behind the scenes. They're proven, they're track record. Same ones we use for real estate, but these are just for different businesses. And
Mhm.
like the tracking part of it and all that. So like, even though I'm very good at this, and you know how I am about this, making people ask questions and rethink things, but more importantly, the systems that are in place and the tracking of it is what's going to really take the business to the next level.
Good. Okay. I'm ready.
You like me, you want to move over there. That's why I have to work on getting my database together and make it tighter so that when I do move, I go ahead and hand off my database to an agent here, and anything they close from my database, I get 25% for the next 10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. Whenever you have available time, let's talk. I'll send you a message and you can just shoot me back and let me know.
Shoot me a message, and then so I'm gonna give me next week, because I want to go and get
Okay.
the certification done, and as soon as that's done, we'll do what's called an assessment call.
Okay.
And we'll see where your business is. I would say at this point, start just brainstorming different ways that you can do it and how you can leverage it. I think that's going to be the first part, and then having a plan in place that we create that's going to allow you to be able to walk away and not have to come back here anymore.
Gotcha. Okay,
And
cool.
if you guys are like seriously going to start moving and being over there, you might not need a house then. If he's going to be moving there, you're just coming back and forth, but he's staying there, girl, that is when you go ahead and do what like a lot of the traveling nurses do. They just go ahead and rent a room in somebody's house, pay a small little amount of money, come in, they're here for, here for a little bit there, because they're not really there, they're just working, right? And
Mhm.
you can your stuff here, but you don't need an actual full house. Buy a house in Europe.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. But
Well, let
hopefully
me
we
know
can talk more about that on the phone.
if you decide to move on the house, I got some really good rock star realtors there in Charlotte that I trust. So if you decide to go that route and want to kind of see what it's worth and stuff, because
Mhm.
they're not always accurate, then let me know. I'll connect you guys.
All right. Thank you, Natalie. Hopefully we'll get to catch up next week.
Yeah, let's do that.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye-bye.